Well, folks, I just took my first shots out of my first Wildcat cartridge that I developed. I'm very excited. It's exceeding my expectations and my velocity needs. Let me introduce you to the 22 DPC. Now, this is going to be an AR-15 based cartridge based off the 6 ARC, neck down to 22 or 223 caliber, shooting the 85.5 grain burgers or lighter. You can even shoot the 95 grainers and still be mag length. So let's talk about this little cartridge, what it could do, and how I developed it. Stay tuned. So just like all Wildcat cartridges develop, the developers always had a goal in mind, and this 22 DPC, its goal is to pick up where the 224 Valkyrie left off. Now, I know there's a 22 Grendel that's been around for quite a while, and I actually have that caliber, and through my endeavor of testing that caliber and actually trying to form the brass, it ended up being kind of a pain in the ass to make that thing to work and produce the numbers that I wanted. So I actually looked into getting the 6mm arc and necking it down to a 223 caliber. And those naysayers out there may say, well, all you did was just neck it down. You didn't really develop anything. Let me give you a little history about the 6mm arc. Now, the 6mm arc was originally developed off a Wildcat from Mr. Robert Whitley, which was labeled 6mm AR. Hornady basically stole it and just put a C at the end of it and called it the advanced rifle cartridge. It's pretty much the same dimensions and the same performance. Basically, Robert Whitley designed that cartridge to push the 105 grain bolt to hollow points out of an AR-15 with the performance you see today, labeled as a 6mm arc. Now, it's my opinion that the 223 caliber is a perfect combination, originally how it was designed for the AR-15 platform. When going anything larger than the 223 caliber, you start having issues with the reliability as well as performance, and the 6mm arc is no exception. So the 6 ARC is still one of my most favorite calibers. Now, I really prefer this thing in a bolt action, even though this thing was designed around the AR-15 platform. There's a lot of videos out there, including mine, showing that this cartridge really performs out of the AR, like this Cobalt Kinetics. However, early iterations of the 6 ARC in the chamber design actually made these things really not perform very well downrange. What I mean is that the original SAMI spec chamber designed for the 6 ARC in the AR-15 was making the Hornady 108 and 105 bolt to hollow points actually jumping quite a bit, sometimes over 50 thou. So a lot of manufacturers are kind of secretly changing the chamber of their barrels and making it a non-SAMI spec style chamber, shortening the free bore around 50 thou. Then the previous was 90 thou. So one of the things that is not really talked about on a lot of forums with the 6 ARC and AR-15 platform is its ability, or basically prone to bullet jump when chambering. The violent nature of the AR-15 itself, when sending the bolt home and picking up a cartridge, will actually cause this bullet to jump, kind of like a bullet puller. So let me see if I get this thing to simulate it, but I do have a Hornady comparator, bullet comparator, and we'll get this thing zeroed out on the mid-Toyo gauge here. Hopefully you guys can pick that up. So this is a factory 105 Hornady black, and I have my Cobalt Kinetics 6 ARC AR-15 SPR. We'll go ahead and put it into the mag here, chamber this round, so slingshot it. Here's the round, and the rifle is clear. And we'll go ahead and measure if we had any kind of bullet jump. Now, this does happen occasionally, and I'm showing around a 10 thousandths jump already. So, okay, 8 thousandths. Let's move this around, get a more accurate reading. So about 8 thousandths jump is what I got on this when chambering the round or sending the bolt home. And what I was seeing downrange on the 6 ARC AR-15 is that I was getting random flyers, up or down, left or right, and a lot of it is to do with the bullet jump. If you're a hand loader, you do know that bullet jump really does affect the accuracy of the rifle. So seeing this and the fact that the AR-15 itself, its violent nature on chambering, causes inertia on the bullet, regardless of putting a crimp on the actual cartridge itself. Now, a crimp only compensates for bullet setback, not bullet jump. And even if I did change the bullet deck tension, in fact I did try this on my hand loads, was removing the expander ball and having the size and die pretty much have 100% neck tension where the bullet was seating pretty damn difficult. it didn't matter. The bullet itself was still jumping out of the cartridge. So I started brainstorming and started drawing the dimensions of this cartridge. Obviously, to mitigate this situation, I started thinking about lighter bullets with high BC, hence the 223 caliber. Now, there's a plethora of 22 caliber high ballistic coefficient bullets out there, such as the Berger 80.5 grain projectile and the 85.5. Hornady also made the A-tips, the 90 grainers, and Sierra also has the 95.5 grainers. With that in mind, I also wanted the brass to size very easily. So I drawn this up to basically use nothing but a full-length sizing die with the bushing, and you just size the case and don't even have to trim it. I sent the reamer specs to Dave Manson, and they got it back to me in 4 weeks, just taking a 6-arc reamer and basically grinding it down to the 223 caliber with my free bore and neck size dimensions. Converting the 6-arc to 22 DPC is actually very simple. Using a Dillon 750 press, once fired Hornady brass 6-arc out of my AR, I'll go ahead and get these cases lubed up, throw it in the hopper here, and what I have set up is on station number 1 is a L.E. Wilson full-length bushing sizing die, and then on station number 3, opposite side of this, is a 6-arc lead collet die. So the 6-arc lead collet die has a 22 or 223 mandrel that I use out of my 223 collet die. And then the bushing that I have installed on this thing is a 253 on the L.E. Wilson full-length sizing bushing die.
What does it do? Load the bullets?
Nope, I'm converting 6-arc brass to 22 DPC. So once you convert once fired 6-arc brass, you'll have a case overall length of 1.50. Very easy to remember, and like I said, no trimming needed. So using my bore cam, I was able to take a full-length sized case without it being trimmed and see that I still had roughly 10 or 15 thou before actually hitting the top shoulder of the case neck. This will allow for about 10 or 15 thou expansion of the case neck, as well as reduce the carbon fouling in that area. So for the first build, I'm actually building a bolt action first. That way I could get the peak performance of this cartridge with a 26-inch barrel. This is a Bartline 1-in-6.75 twist, and I'm building this thing for a Kogar Arms short action. Okay, so I made a modified case gauge for this 22 DPC, and we're going to see exactly where this 85.5 grain projectile wants to hit the lands. So I'm just doing this one-handed here, but essentially what we're going to do is just see exactly where it touches the lands, get an overall measurement, and see if we need to throw it out this chamber. Alright, so the bullet is kissing the lands at 2.263, and I ideally want to be around 15 thousandths off the lands at AR magazine length. So we're going to go ahead and add about, let's say, at least 15 or 16 thousandths throat on the free bore. This free bore itself is a 90 thousandths free bore. And how we're going to do that is using this little reamer here. Now this reamer is a 22 throater from Dave Manson, center fire. So basically what it's going to do is get inside the actual free bore here. That's right at the 90 thousandths. And we're going to situate the tailstock to where it pushes this throater in another 15 thou. Alright, we're going to ream this throat 15 thou. That's 5, 10. Alright, so the case overall length now is 2.280, so we're roughly 20 thou from magazine length. So 2.260 was my target, and 20 thou jump for this particular bullet. I think that's going to be a good start. Well folks, let me tell you a little bit about the rifle that we're using for a test. Now this is sitting in a ACC chassis from MDT. The action is a Kogar Arms VPR action, and it has a Bartline 26-inch MTU contour 1-in-6.75 twist. I do have the Crown Ridge Barrel Works muzzle brake here, and now this is basically using the 6.5 Grendel bolt head. Now I did actually call them and requested to give me the PPC bolt head with a Seiko extractor. That way I have a little bit stronger ejection. But this action, super smooth. You guys can see it here. It's butter. I love these Kogar actions, and the way it looks, fantastic look on the action itself. Looks very sharp in the black and bright silver finish. The scope is a Valdetta G2 Mini that I'm using as a test for now. It's got a 20 MOA rail, and the mags that I'm using for this are the MDT 6, or basically 224 Valkyrie mags. These are the polymer mags. They're listed as 8 rounds, but you could get them as 7, and I do make the extensions for them to make them a 10 round mag. MDT also makes a metal mag that's a 12 rounder. It's more of a 11 rounder mag. That's another option, but I found these polymer mags to kind of really feed very well. Now, I found this action. Why I'm using the Cougar Arms action is because it has a built-in feed ramp. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that allows me to pretty much feed a 55 grain bullet with the overall length of the cartridge just over 2 inches out of a bolt action. So that allows me to shoot the 55 grainers all the way up to a 95 grain projectile, sticking in the AR-15 mag length. Obviously, I have lots of room to grow with the AICS pattern mag. So very happy with the performance. And that's a quick little rundown of this rifle. And beautiful sunset going on here, Arizona. So initial load testing with CFE 223 gained a velocity of over 3,140 feet a second. So at that velocity with the 85.5 grain projectile, it will stay supersonic all the way out to 1,200 yards. 2950, half-inch group already. And then the main thing I want to see if it actually heat soaks the barrel, because this is how I'm going to tell if it's going to be a barrel burner. It's not even warm, dude. Yeah, it is. That is cold to the touch. So 10 rounds and it's not even a barrel burner. $28 or $29.86. $3,019, so I'm out of a node right now. $3,021.
Are they all loaded the same?
Just different powder charges, yeah.
Oh, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I'm just doing a ladder charge right now. 20,000's off the lands. $29.90. Yeah, I'm out of a node, but it's still holding the group, but it's out of the node. Still a half-inch group. What do you think the 55 grains are going to do? The velocity?
What powder charge?
CFE 223. They're not really loaded super hot.
How much you got in them?
31 grains.
33.40.
33. Okay, price is right.
Yep.
So it chambers out of this thing really easy, man. But here we go.
Bullseye. Dead center of the center.
Dude, we are way off on velocity. 3,537 feet a second. Let's see if it holds a group.
I hope it does.
It's 3,525.
Dude. Take your time. Dude, you're one hole in it.
3,485.
Oh, flyer.
That's all right. It's not the best bullet. 3,568 feet a second. And we'll throw this last one in here.
Is that number 5 or?
That was number 4. The first run had a light primer strike.
I don't even know what hole that went in.
Yeah, 3,567. Holy smokes, these things are moving, dude. And that's just cheap 55 grain Everglades ammo version 4. Last shot, 3,567 feet a second. 55 grain Everglades version 4 out of the 22 DPC. Well, those 55 grainers, pretty surprised to see right there at MOA accuracy at that kind of velocity. And testing we did today, very awesome results. Holding about 1/2 inch group on a nice wide 1.5 grain load, starting out at 28 grains. So what I'm going to do is probably go to 29 grains or around 28 and 0.7, load up some more ammo and do some downrange results. Oh, too much wind. Let's cut back. And pack. All right. Hard to tell with this target cam. It's holding elevation. I'm just fighting a little bit of wind. Impact. 710 yards. This thing is performing very, very well. Well, I got a target at 1060. I'm going to see if I can tag that thing way up on the hill here. And it's calling for 8.3 on elevation. And about a mil hold left. Hard to see with this target cam, but we'll give it a try. But you guys can see the you guys will be able to see the recoil with me free recoiling this thing. Let's give it a shot. All right, that was the right side of that plate. Let's hold a little bit more wind, come up 0.2. Still right side. Let's hold 1.5 mils. Oh, just high. Come down a 10th. Now this is 1,060 yards. It's really hard to see with this target cam. Let me take this thing off. How do I get a better shot? There we go. Just right side. So about 1.5 mils is the call. Impact. I don't know if you heard that, but that was an impact for sure. 1,060. It's holding elevation, performing exactly how I want it. Let me see if I can back this up here. Now that I got the wind call. 2 shots. Very light recoil. Impact. Impact. Guys, this cartridge, freaking awesome. I am stoked at the way it's performing. So a little bit more spin drift than I wanted, but to make shots and shots back to back, 1,060 yards. It's phenomenal. Let's see if I make this one again. It'll be 3 in a row. 10-inch plate. Impact. Yeah. All day long. This thing is making it look easy. 85.5 grain burger. Impact. Ah, stoked. Big thumbs up, man. All right, we're gonna go ahead and simulate a PRS condition here, shooting off by side at the 710 yard target. And it's a 6-inch plate, clover, 4.1 mils elevation. Make sure I got my parallax set. Mags in, and begin. So take note of the recoil or lack of recoil. We'll see how this works. Oop. Just high and left. Impact. Just skin pack that one. Come down to 4. That's what I'm going to do here. Okay. Let me push into the barricade a little more. Impact. And last one. So, outstanding performance out of this little cartridge. It gets there. 710 yards, making it look easy. 22 DPC. Well, folks, I'm getting outstanding performance out of the 22 DPC Wildcat that I developed, and out of the bolt gun, it's exceeding my expectations. Accuracy downrange, you know, within the first 50 rounds of this rifle, it's just hammering. So we got MOA accuracy out to 1,000 plus yards. It's super light on recoil. Bullets are a little easier to come by. So when I developed this for the AR-15, I think we're going to see some outstanding performance. I am waiting on the pressure trace 2 system. That way I could put a strain gauge on that barrel that I made for the AR-15 and get an accurate chamber pressure. Now we want to keep at the 55,000 PSI chamber pressure limitation of an AR-15 platform. And we'll build that thing at a 22-inch barrel, see what kind of performance we get downrange. Now my goal for this cartridge is not only to have significant performance gain over the 6 arc. I want it to be at 2,900 feet a second with at minimum an 80.5 grain burger full bore. So that's the bullet I have this cartridge pretty much designed around, is the 80.5 grain and 85.5. Now this cartridge itself could also shoot the 95 grain Sierra, which is recommended twist rate of a 1 in 6.5 or faster. This Bartline barrel is a 1 in 6.75. So right at the cusp of basically the optimized twist rate. We'll give those things a shot, as well as some 90 grain A-tips. So stick around. If you guys like this video, throw a thumbs up if you don't mind. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think of this cartridge. And as always, stay safe. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.